What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we are going to be talking none other than GP Tuesday. So we're just going to be going over all of the Asia tournaments and stuff like that that has happened, and some fun janky decks that have appeared. So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. So each week, the gap gets closer and closer together. So Bunnies hasn't moved up much. It's only at 11%, followed by Insects by 10.2, then followed by Imperial Jmon at 8.5. So the big three are still the big three, but everybody else is kind of in that at least close to the 30 range as they can be. They're all starting to lead into that 20 range, which is good to see. We have Yellow Vaccine at 18, at 6.4, Blue Armor Rush 7.4, SOC 5.7, Nume at 3.9, which is no surprise there. Once you see something top at a high level event like this, that is expected to kind of just have an increase like this. So good to see X Antibody followed by a bunch of stuff that is just really solid. You can just see by the graph here how everything is just panning out. So just really solid just to see, in my opinion. But taking a look at it, we're at 282 decks of the format. We have many more weeks to go, so I expect Bunny, Insects, Blue, Green, Imperial to get more numbers and increase faster. But Insects are seeming to be now pushing ahead. People are probably soft finding what the deck can do, and we're starting to like what you can do with, Tyrant Kabuterimon. So stuff like this is very important to take a look at. We got Black X Antibody going up by 3, Digipolice by 3, Jmon coming in from the back of the pack by 3. We got Shine Greymon finally starting to show its head for 3 wins this week. Then we got like Marine Angemon, Aquatics, Cross Hearts, Big Ukomon got 1 new win. Deva's got 1 new win. Bellastar, Beelzestar got 1 new win. So there's a lot of good things coming along with this format, and it doesn't seem like it's overly toxic. And that's good because, if we take a look at the prior one, the top deck was at least already pushing like 50, if not like 70 by this point in the format. And it's really solid. I know the restrictions came off a little bit later, so this is, changes things up a little bit. But I also think there's going to be, data-wise will be slowing down anyway because the new year is coming. So for the other countries. And usually when that happens, tournaments slow down a lot. So first off, let's talk about Aquatics. Aquatics is pretty interesting here. They have solid tamer pool, a splash of Tommy. They are using 60% win rate here, which is not a bad pickup to just go for what you're trying to do. So what are some of the new cards they're trying to do with this? I know Aquatics got supported BT15, which this is all BT15 really can do here. So you could probably see this splashed in like as early as our current format we're getting into in February. So they have Betamon basically saying no to your opponent's attacking for the end of your opponent's turn, one of their Digimon, and it's played by effect. Since this whole deck plays from a source, it's just going to do that. And then you have like Seedramon that has Rush, being able to come in as like your pseudo Black Gato, stuff like that, that can just come in and get a quick attack in and just probably seal off the game win. Then you have Mega Seedramon here on play with Digimon. By placing one of your other blue Digimon as this Digimon's bottom Digi-Evolution card, return one of your opponent's Digimon with a level less than or equal to the place card's level at the bottom of their deck. So Mega Seedramon definitely adds a control aspect to the deck that it didn't really have completely. This brings it a little bit earlier. You can take a level 6 or a level 7, get it underneath, which is fine. Then you can replay it with like a Kaiser Nail or your natural inheritable effects, which is really solid. You have Pleasureman X Antibody. When Digivolving, when attacking, return one of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digi-Evolution cards as the Digimon to the hand. Then opponent's turn, when one of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digi-Evolutions as this Digimon attacks, if this Digimon has Plesio or X Antibody as Digi-Evolution, gain 2 memory. So solid there. Then regular Plesio, if you don't know what this does, is basically play a level 4 lower Digimon with Aquatic or Sea Animal and Digi traits from one of your blue Digimon's Digi-Evolution without paying its cost. Then you may place one blue Digimon card from your hand under this Digimon as a bottom Digi-Evolution source. You know, when you play a Digimon from the Digi-Evolution cards, you may return one of your opponent's Digimon with the same level as to the bottom of its owner's deck. Just control, more board-wide control, which is really solid. And then I guess Jmon is just being what it wants to do. You know, you may play one blue level 3 Digimon or one Digimon with Sea Jmon in its name or Aqua or Sea Animal in one of its traits from one of your blue Digi-Evolution cards without paying its memory cost. And then opponent's turn, when one of your opponents plays a Digimon, you may activate one of this Digimon's when Digivolving effects. So, really solid across the board. I think it has a lot of potential, especially being a deck that is quite slept on. I mean, hey, it took one win in an event. It's not... I think this was a super casual event. Most of the times these are when we see these kind of decks. But, you know, there are players that want to see these kind of decks. Like this deck here. Marine and Jmon. There was only 4 participations. It's not like it's super competitive. We kind of know what the top decks are. At this point, showing the rogue fun jank is kind of where we want to be. So this is really an interesting deck because it focuses on playing and doing some shenanigans that normally only works in a vacuum. So first off, they're using the core fundamental of Lunamon. So Lunamon has the ability by returning one of your Digimon to the hand, gain 2 memory. So you're going to be balancing your on plays. So that means your Puckmon, your Marine Anjas, your Divermons, your any other on players. So Divermon helps out because it trashes 3 of bottom Digi-Evolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. Then your opponent with no Digi-Evolution cards, you may play one blue Tamer card from your hand without paying its cost. So it combos in nicely because Lunamon will make him come in. So if they give you 2, you'll go to 4. You bounce, you know, that 2 to 4 situation. Divermon comes to hand. Replay them down for 2, strip 3 sources, and if that's all they have, you basically gain a free Tamer out of the deal. So it's a lot of decent value. I know Kenta's in here. It's like one of the worst Tamers you'd be playing, but, you know, when you would play a Marine Angemon from hand, reduce the cost by 1. So if you get all 4, it can bring this thing down to a 7 cost. When you play a blue Digimon card, you may suspend this Tamer, trash the bottom Digi-Evolution of one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if the Digimon played is Marine Angemon, trash the bottom Digi-Evolution of all your opponent's Digimon. So Marine is just basically when another Digimon is returned to hand, recovery 1. And then, you know, by returning one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimons to hand, return one of your opponent's whose level is less than or equal to the returned Digimon's level to hand. You know, it's solid. You have Marine Angemon here from EXO2 that basically recovers you all back in up to 6. So there's a lot of potential of what you can do with it, and especially with Pokemon. So trust the top 2 Digi-Evolutions of all your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digi-Evolution cards to the bottom of the deck. So there's a lot of potential. It's a really gimmicky deck. Do I think this is going to top any major events? No, but somebody's going to have fun with locals with this, right? Then we have Jmon. Jmon finally starting to show some progress in the format, so I figured it would be good to talk about what it's kind of doing here. So we have the Shikin Meepos. You know, we have Royal Knights as always, and then the Jmon line as expected, and then a bunch of Sistermons just to go with it. So no surprise there, right? So major things we need to take away from it is that you have Genkumon X antibody to go under your Jmon GX. So when Digivolving, you know, you may play one Digimon with Sistermon in your hand or trash without paying its cost. Then if Genkumon is in its Digi-Evolutions, or if you have a Digimon with Sistermon in its name, until the end of your opponent's turn, all your Digimon get plus 2000 DP, and your opponent's effects cannot return them to hand, deck, or reduce their DP. So it's just a really threatening thing to really prevent minusing stuff. Then we have Jmon GX that basically plays a Sistermon for its when Digivolving, and then if it's Jmon in its Digi-Evolution cards, or you have a Digimon with Sistermon in name, all your Digimon get plus 2000 DP and may attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon until the end of opponent's turn. Just really solid. You know, the unrestricted Savior Hawk is at 2 in this list. You know, then they're also taking in Magnamon X Antibody. Because it has a when Digivolving effect, this combos in with really nicely with their Jmon GX. So, you know, if this thing has Magna X Antibody in it, or a card with armor 4 minutes traits in its Digivolution. This Digimon isn't affected by your opponent's effects and gets plus 3000 DP until the end of opponent's turn, then unsuspended. You won't get the all turn effects, but you will get the effect of basically the unsuspend and the power boost with Jmon GX, making him even a beefier threat with a play cost 13 or less. This is really crazy. So this thing also gains Walla, a card with Royal Knights in its traits. In its Digievolutions, this Digimon gains Piercing, Blocker, and Security +1 for each set's card. So this just all combos in really nastively, especially when it's the Wind Digivolve and gets to tuck the Magnamon X antibody, making it basically unaffected, you know, unaffected by your opponent's effects, because complete option removal or anything, you just have to climb over this thing, and this thing is beefy tanky. And then it has the other blockers in the Sistermons to keep it safe. So the likelihood of you getting rid of Jmon GX with a Magnamon X antibody underneath it is very slim to none. Then we have Red Hybrid itself. So let's take a look at it. If you guys don't know what Red Hybrid is by now, I mean, not Red, Yellow Hybrid is basically focuses around the Marcuses that punch in, comboed in with the Agumon that's going to make them into Tamers that punch. So, and then kind of just uses options to control the board state with like Lonke's, you know, Wyvern's Breath, you know, the Shine Burst modes option that basically plays a Marcus. And then you hybrid on top of your Tamers and slow your opponent down. So, you know, using like Gussamon to make it so they can't play with effects, controlling the board state, which are very easier threats to remove. Ukumon just to help you, you know, reveal the top 3 cards, add 1 Digimon or Tamer. This thing is constantly helping you feed your deck, which is really important. And then you may hatch 1 in your breeding area. You know, Kaze, Zephyr, got Sylphie, all doing what they want to do. Then you have like Trident Gaia that deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP. If a Digimon with 13,000 DP is deleted by this effect, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. You could just run regular Gaia Force if you wanted to. It's up to you. Trident Gaia is good from hand. Gaia Force is great in security. It's up to you how you want to go about it. But the Marcuses are going to do what the Marcuses do best, and that's just going to punch through your opponent's security with the Agumon and all the good stuff. So having Venusmon in the list as well slows down your opponent's game plan, you know, giving them preventative ways from being able to attack, deal damage to you, or use their when attacking or when digivolving effects. So stuff like this is very important just to watch out for, and it's really cool to see where they're going with it. So seeing Yellow Hybrid back doing some shenanigans is always good. So guys, what did you think of all these great, fantastic lists this week? Anything you guys want to really see that I haven't really covered? I've covered quite a lot. So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace!